A former Indiana Pacers star is looking to make an NBA comeback, and he's looking to do so with the New York Knicks. And you're not gonna believe who it is. The New York Knicks are still actively looking to trade Evan Fournier, but if they can't trade him, they might end up buying him out. We're gonna cover all of this and so much more today. Let's get started. Lance Stephenson is seeking an NBA return. You heard that right. Now, if you remember Lance like I do, you'll remember the infamous moment where he blew that air into LeBron James's ear, and LeBron James made this weird, grossed out face and looked at the referee. For me, that moment is iconic. And now he's looking to make an NBA return. In an interview that Lance Stephenson conducted with the New York Post's Tashara Jones, he mentioned that he wanted to make an NBA return either with the New York Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets. Lance Stephenson has been playing basketball in Puerto Rico for the last year. And in this interview with the New York Post, he does state that he misses playing in the spotlight. I definitely miss the NBA now that I'm playing in Puerto Rico. I didn't want to leave, so my goal right now is to get back there and show them that I am born ready. Lance Stephenson signed with Puerto Rico's Leones de Ponce for the 2023 season. Lance Stephenson, when he was playing in the NBA, I always remember him playing tenacious defense and always playing hard. And every time he was on the court, he gave it his all. He was passionate, he was charismatic, and he always had the crowd on their feet, especially during his time in Indiana, where I think he had his best run of his entire career. And you can make the argument he was most impactful for Indiana as well too. And now he's been playing overseas with Puerto Rico for the last year, and he wants to make an NBA return. And listen, I respect that. And if he thinks he has some gas left in the tank and he can contribute to a team and help them win, I'm all for it. Let him try to make a comeback. I'm open to seeing that happen for Lance Stephenson, and hopefully it does happen for him at some point in his career moving forward. But I don't want to see that happen with the New York Knicks. I can't lie. He's 32 years old, folks. So he doesn't fit the age timeline of the New York Knicks. That's the first thing. The second thing is no NBA team wanted him last season, and he had to go overseas and play over there in Puerto Rico to see what he could do and keep his NBA dream alive. Because obviously, if you're not playing in the NBA, you want to play somewhere where you can still get paid, hone your craft, and hopefully jump back into the NBA. And in this interview that he did with the New York Post, he basically said that. He's in Puerto Rico, he's playing basketball, all in an attempt to play in the bright lights of the NBA, where he says he misses that spotlight, which really goes to show you, while there's leagues all around this nation, and I'm very happy to see that, there's only one NBA, and everyone wants to play there. Stephenson continued in his interview with the New York Post by stating the following: I think it's time for a New York team. I want to play for Brooklyn or the Knicks. Either one would do. He also stated, I feel like I did enough for people to remember me and know me as one of the top players that played in New York. I feel like I'm just New York. Now listen, that's a great thing to say. I admire him saying that. And you know what? It's a special bond he clearly has with New York. And I really, really wish him the best. I just don't want to see him play for the New York Knicks. You want to go to Brooklyn? You want to play for the Nets? Go ahead. Play for the Nets. I wish you all the best, except when we play the Nets. But other than that, I wish you all the best. But I just don't want to see him play as a New York Knick. Not only because of his age as well too, but he also plays a small guard or a small forward position. Now, yeah, you can make the argument that maybe we need more forwards, and yeah, he gives you great defense and great tenacity at that position. At least he used to. He's 32 now. Played overseas for the last year. I'm not sure what level of game you're going to get from him at this stage of his career, so you got to remember that. Maybe you think you need a veteran, and he may check the box in terms of veteran, but honestly, I think you could go around the league right now and find better veterans than Lance Stephenson. I really wouldn't understand why the New York Knicks would add him. I'm glad that he wants to come to New York. I'm glad that he thinks of New York as a destination place for him, his game, and what he wants to do. So don't get me wrong here. I'm very humbled by it, and I'm thankful that he wants to play for New York. It's a great thing to hear other players openly state that they want to play for New York. So I'm not trying to take away that, and I'm not trying to throw shade at him for any of that. I just don't want him on the Knicks team because I don't think he fits any type of role. If you want to say he fits the veteran role, I guess you could kind of check that box, but what other box are you checking? Even if you keep RJ Barrett at the 3 spot and want to argue you can switch Lance with RJ at times, even if you did that, I don't really think that makes sense because wouldn't you want Josh Hart or another one of these players to play the small forward position other than Lance Stephenson, an aging veteran? I don't think it makes sense for the New York Knicks to add him at this point. I don't know what he potentially can give the New York Knicks besides tenacious defense, which they already have. I mean, he does play with passion and a lot of hustle, but that's really what Josh Hart does. I mean, you can't have enough of those guys on the team. So, I mean, if you're trying to sell me on that, I get it. But, you know, I don't think we need him because, if anything, if you want to add him because of that passion and hustle, Josh Hart already has that. And, again, him being an aging veteran on this team, taking away time from the youth, I think a lot of fans wouldn't like that. So, personally speaking, for me, I really would not ever add Lance Stephenson to this New York Knicks team. Not today or any day in the future. Love you, Lance, but I'm sorry, man. Not adding you. Evan Fournier could potentially be bought out. Now, we all know that Evan Fournier has been looking to be traded. He's asked for a trade, openly stated he wanted to be traded, and we know the New York Knicks have been looking to move him, actively trying to move him, as recently to the San Antonio Spurs, but that couldn't get done either. So they're still trying to move him, and I'm sure they're still having trade talks for him. But according to Steve Popper of Newsday, if a trade doesn't happen, they could buy him out. According to Steve Popper of Newsday, the New York Knicks will keep trying to trade Evan Fournier. However, they could potentially buy out Evan Fournier if they can't find a taker for him. Now, this is very interesting information to note because Evan Fournier's contract has always been mentioned in regards to trade talks as salary filler. So it's interesting to hear that the New York Knicks are looking to buy him out because if they're looking to do that, that probably means as well that they're likely not looking to make a superstar trade or at least a massive trade this offseason. And I know that might be disappointing for some fans, but it still goes into the direction of what Leon Rose has been doing for the last few years, which is building this roster patiently. If the New York Knicks buy out Evan Fournier, it doesn't make any sense for them, but it does help Evan Fournier move on to another team, and it doesn't lock him down on the bench for a whole nother season, which he's openly stated in an interview that he cannot do for his career again, because if he does it for his career again, it would be disastrous. So he does not want to take that risk again. So if the Knicks did do that, then it means a couple of things. One of the main things is that they can't find a trade partner that meets a trade package for them that is acceptable. They are not going to make a superstar trade, and they are doing this just to make Fournier happy because, again, it does nothing for the New York Knicks to buy him out. After the interview that Evan Fournier conducted, this is not surprising news from the New York Knicks because if you're not going to trade him, and if you can't trade him, you cannot keep that toxicity on your team. It's going to drag the entire team and locker room down. So I agree that if you can't trade him, maybe the best thing to do is to buy him out so you're not weighing down the locker room with that anchor of Evan Fournier and the fact that he doesn't want to play for the New York Knicks. Maybe it's better for all parties to do that. The Knicks don't have to do that, but it might be better again for everyone to do that if they can't find the right trade to execute. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.